It's here. This is the week.
Wow.
It just never ends.
No.
It's arrived.
Forever-tober.
We're here.
We are.
We made it.
I'm excited.
We celebrated, sort of, right?
I told every day.
Okay.
Every
All right.
fudge-sucking day.
I meant to watch a lot of horror this month, but I just end up watching, I've been binge watching Insatiable on Netflix.
I don't even know what that is.
I know.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty cool show. I'd recommend it. And I watched Midsummer. That was a cool horror movie. But I've been keeping Halloween in my heart. I haven't abandoned it.
No, I know, me either.
It sounds like you're being cagey now.
Because I want to do more, but I still have time.
You do?
Yeah.
I can have my own not Bob Cratchit. Yeah, my own Bob Cratchit moment. No, I guess to be Ebenezer, wouldn't it?
Well, if you mean that you're going to change your ways at the last second and redeem the holiday,
Yeah,
yes.
then it's
Okay.
Scrooge.
No, Cratchit was a pretty solid dude all the way through.
Yeah, that was Tiny Tim's dad, right?
Yes, it was.
Sad story.
Tim Cratchit.
Fucking wow.
Sad story.
Nobody ever
Yeah.
says that.
No one ever talks about good old Tim
Good old Timmy Cratchit.
Well, didn't he not make it,
Hop
right?
along, Cratchit. No, he fucking made it.
Now remember, the ghost was like,
Well, no,
there's his
he-
grave.
He died,
And he
but
had
then
he had his crutch.
Ebenezer got his shit straight and bought him a turkey and paid for a new leg or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Timmy Cratchit. God bless us, everyone.
Yeah, see, I like
Little Timmy Cratchit.
I like the Scrooge version better.
I gotta say, this is a lot of Christmas talk for our
Now
final
you know
Halloween
Jesus Christ.
pod.
It's true.
What the fuck?
It's true. All
It's
right,
Mark's
so,
fault.
Yeah, I digressed a little bit, but we're going to bring it back on track to fucking Halloween.
Please.
Because we're going to fucking do it.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you need to swear quite so much.
Calm down, Mark. Calm down.
Pump. Hey, Mark, why don't you pump your brakes?
What the fuck are you
Why
doing?
don't you stop ripping missiles in Chris's fucking
I thought we were
apartment
over
complex? So yeah, Oogie Spooky, we're doing it. Thank you all so very much for your Patreon contributions. Those can be made at patreon.com/Kryptonautpodcast. We recently put up an interview that I did with my wife, actually.
I can't wait to hear that,
the
actually.
The Dubno alien abduction sex, which is kind of fun.
Oh, my God.
And
That's
I-
something every couple
Yeah.
actually, you need to have that talk with your significant other.
Yeah, you need to know.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of an audio issue because I recorded on my iPhone and she's a little bit low in there, but you can hear it. It's good. And also too, I did broach the subject of elf sex.
Oh.
That 15.
So you just covered all the bases.
Yeah, all the
special $15 tier.
Yeah, the $15 tier from elves from here to the Mississippi.
Yeah.
I think was what it
Oh,
was
don't
gonna
tell
be.
me.
So,
I can't wait to hear her reaction.
yeah, it was pretty cool. It was
I
awesome.
bet I
So,
can guess.
Thank
Yeah.
y'all to everyone over there that supports us. Oh, I never even introduced us.
No.
Welcome to the Kryptonaut Podcast. I'm Mark Storrs, and with me as always is
Tim Cratchit.
Oh,
Wow.
Tim Cratchit,
Good
welcome
old
back
Timmy.
from the dead.
You got it,
And
bitch.
Rob Morpheus.
Thank y'all so very much. T Public, we recently launched a new T-shirt over there. It's
We sure did.
A riff on the Black Sabbath Volume 4. It's a Heller Space.
With
Tis.
With a,
Oh, don't
with
give
a-
it up! Don't give it up.
Oh, I shouldn't say what
Well,
it
no,
was.
I want to see if anyone picks up on what the
Okay,
illustration
with
is.
an illustration that I rather enjoyed making.
Yeah, so-
Of something that I will not say out loud.
Yeah, I guess we're not going to tell you.
We'll just see if anyone if anyone can figure out what the illustration is. We'll see, because that story's going to get done soon. I really hope it might be a series.
It's going to have to be.
Yeah, because there's quite a lot to it. But so yeah, that's over at T Public. You can check that out. We got pins and stickers and magnets. It's a thing. It's there.
Yeah.
Thank you all to everyone that's purchased them. I really hope they're not garbage, because I'm gonna feel like a dick if they are.
I really hope not, too.
Yeah, I think
because
it'll be alright.
What I do love is magnets, though. I
We all
mean,
love
I'm
magnets, yeah.
stupid for magnets. I love collecting them, so I hope they don't suck, because I would like to put them all over my fridge.
Yeah, well, if they do suck, email us and let us know.
Yeah, please do. And then
Yeah.
we'll just not be making people buy those
And
anymore.
we'll probably apologize, and we'll figure out a way to compensate you for your troubles, and there you go.
Yes.
Done and done.
That's what we do.
We, because we're stand-up crypto kids.
Nice.
Wow.
All right, so now this story this week, we've had a couple that were like, oh, this is our favorite, this is the one. And they may have, we may have blown them up in our minds as something that they weren't, but this one is definitely one of the all-time favorites.
A fucking legend.
I'm not trying to throw shade at the Dover Demon, but we were all excited about it, and then we got to it and we were like, oh, that's right.
He leaned a lot.
Yeah.
He's got a cantaloupe head. Like, oh. And
Yeah.
and if you're listening, Dover Demon, I'm not dissing you. You're probably super cool, and I hope you're out there doing your shit with stone walls and whatever you're doing in Boston.
Totally.
It's cool. But,
He's got to be a Mason by now.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's definitely in
Grandmaster.
the union, definitely. But this, to use your term, stone cold classic.
Indeed.
And rides the line a little bit because you're not really sure what it could be.
It can go a lot of different directions.
It could.
It might be the most famous entity we have ever dealt with. And we've done some big boys like Flatwoods and a few others, but this might be this first real superstar.
Let's get started with Spring-Heeled Jack.
It is on.
Oh, man. Let's see if I can muster some, a little bit here.
A little
A little, a little, a little,
A little
chutzpah.
Well, yeah, if I can get the spirit of Halloween just in me enough to get this out properly without having to do 4 takes, that would be fucking awesome.
I got faith.
All right, well, let's do it.
Let's praise the pumpkin, all of us.
Always.
Real quick, praise
Hail.
the pumpkin. Hail the pumpkin. Hail the goat. Hail
Praise the
Satan.
pumpkin. Hail the goat.
There you go. All right, let's get started with bursting into the Victorian era like a diabolical supervillain. This red-eyed, flame-spewing, cape-clad thug terrorized first London, then all of England during a nearly 70-year reign of terror that some say was of a demonic or even extraterrestrial origin. But what others insist was a prosperous cabal of scientifically gifted and supernaturally endowed men who assumed the guise of this enigmatic entity
Boom.
for nefarious purposes far beyond the comprehension of mere mortals. Christopher, give me a creepy laugh.
Oh, God, that was perfect. No, it was flawless.
See?
That was the spirit of
Because
Halloween
we didn't
condensed.
we didn't hail a pumpkin and praise
Yeah,
the goat right.
yeah.
Well,
Whatever.
you got it backwards.
All right.
Praise
whatever.
the pumpkin, hail the goat.
Sorry, whatever.
Well,
Oh, hail.
let's just
hail,
hope we live to see
hail,
another
and
Halloween
go.
to get it right.
Oh, no. Spring Hill Jack.
I
Robert.
fucking love this legend. Okay. One of the most intriguing and disturbing unsolved cases in paranormal history surrounds the iniquitous exploits of a helmet-clad, high-jumping madman whose true identity, or identities, remains as mysterious today as it did 67 years ago. While his real name remains unrecorded, the press of the era gave him a moniker that has echoed through the centuries, invoking a sense of mystery and dread, one that suited his uncanny agility and inexplicable ability to make death-defying, bionic-caliber leaps unharmed. The name? Spring-Heeled Jack. Described by eyewitnesses as being a tall, thin man with sharp, devilish features and pointed ears, this rogue was said to be arrayed in a long black cape, a white, form-fitting suit, a steel helmet, and, most disturbingly, metallic gloves tipped with razor-sharp claws.
So real quick, this I think the overall awards for best outfit goes to Spring Hill.
Oh, he wins every costume
because he looks
competition.
fucking dope. There's an old school like Victorian era, like not Victorian era. Well, I guess it is Victorian era painting of him like from a cover of a magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's like creeping out of the fucking
Like a crypt.
dude. He looks like he's been the Misfits. He looks fucking awesome.
No,
It's
yeah.
the coolest thing ever.
He looks like if Glenn Danzig had done himself up as Wolverine for a
Yeah,
Misfits
it was
concert in the
fucking
early
sweet.
80s. It's amazing. I
Not
love it.
only has he got some pretty cool fucking superpowers and whatnot, but he looks the fucking part.
Oh, totally.
Just saying.
I mean, it is a precursor to so many things, but we're going to get to that.
All right.
As if the aforementioned weren't bizarre enough, this peculiar double-fisted precursor to Freddy Krueger gets even stranger with accounts of his fiery, coal-red eyes and strange ability to belch blue flames, traits that would have been equally at home on Jack Kirby's drawing table or the yellow packaged pages of an Edgar Wallace novel. Now, for those that might not know, I got to throw this out there. Edgar Wallace was an author who wrote a lot of books that were called Krimis, Krmi, that got adapted, and because of their yellow covers, into a lot of the giallo pictures, giallo being the Italian word of
Oh,
yellow,
no shit.
for yellow, that were made in Italy in the late 60s and the 70s. A great, and basically the hallmarks of them are dark clad figures with like something obscuring their faces and weird metal claws or different implements that they use to murder their victims in esoteric ways.
Fucking cool.
So it really is like a cross between an uncanny X-Man and like one of these crazy old Euro thrillers from, 50 years ago.
Awesome.
I love it. Plus, Edgar Wallace is awesome, so I had to give him a shout out. Able to bound from rooftop to rooftop and over high-gated fences with uncanny acumen, initial descriptions of this terrifying apparition have a tendency to evoke images of down-and-dirty Depression-era anti-heroes like Batman and the Shadow, with just a dash of Golden Age comic characters like Dr. Fate. But this bouncing brute, though caped, was no crusader. At first, Jack seemed content to merely frighten the citizenry of London, but it wasn't long before he graduated to assault and eventually wholesale murder.
He killed.
Unabashedly.
Yeah, wholesale.
Wholesale.
Yeah. Like, there was just there's a big blue light
Yeah.
on murder.
And he's like, we got murder, 50% off. Buy one, get one.
Absolutely.
All right.
Events which whipped the entire city into a frenzy of fear that it had never known before and would not know again until an even more notorious Jack reared his head and blood-stained blades in 1888.
Yeah.
Jack the Ripper. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I said it French, but I did. Don't judge me.
The French were probably afraid too. But to properly tell the tale of this maniacal marauder, we have to take it back to the beginning of the phenomenon. For months, rumors had been circulating throughout London regarding a mysterious misanthrope who possessed the alarming ability to hurtle himself to extraordinary heights and distances for the sole purpose, it seemed, of startling random individuals who happened to be out and about after dark. But it wouldn't be until one dusky evening in late September of 1837 that the first report of Spring-Heeled Jack's antisocial antics was made to the authorities.
Kind of a fun little thing. Because he's not really like robbing you. He's not fucking with you. He's just like, ha!
Oh, at first,
It's kind of fun, though.
it's almost like
That's how it always starts, though.
Halloween
Yeah.
year round. Like
Yeah.
this crazy thing, he's there, like,
Yeah.
boo!
He's celebrating like we should be
Well,
celebrating.
that's the year one. Supervillain year one. You're
Yep.
just going to go
Oh,
see.
that's a great
See
analogy.
what you can do first.
Yep,
Before
test
you
the waters.
Yeah. Can I hop this roof? Yeah.
Am I spooky enough to
Boing.
Yeah.
scare? Yeah.
That's a great analogy, Chris. Excellent.
Are people going to die? Probably.
Well, that's the price you pay to be scared.
It's true.
Sometimes.
Death?
Yeah, sometimes you
No,
have
if,
to
if
kill
there was
someone.
a fucking warning outside of a haunted house and like the price you pay, you might be
If
dead
one
before
out of
it's
20
over.
one out of
I
Might be a
know
lot of fun. You might die.
You might die.
1 out of 27 people might die.
But then again, that's
the
like
roll.
skydiving.
Oh,
27?
yeah, those are odds I will not accept.
I mean,
I won't even go up like in a hot air balloon, and that's like one out of like a lot.
Yeah,
That's
it's true.
Fair.
One out of many.
My numbers are skewed. I'm
The
sorry.
fact that hot air balloons never land but always crash really is a big deterrent for me.
Kind of, yeah. I know what you mean.
Also, I'm a big fatty and it's a fucking balloon.
I don't
so
like- I
fuck
don't
that.
like
Plus,
heights.
Wicker. I've never, Wicker has always lost the battle to me.
Yeah.
And I can't fucking let gravity
And
be
you're
the
using-
arbiter of that duel.
Fire to put air in a thing that is completely combustible.
Yeah. Oh.
Good job, humans.
Jesus Christ.
Good
All right,
job,
well,
humans.
We are an anti-hot air balloon podcast. Robert, continue.
Next fucking week. The demon blimp.
Fuck you, air balloons.
All right. According to the official account, an unnamed businessman was returning home from his office late that autumn eve when he decided to take a shortcut through Barnes Cemetery, located in the London borough of Richmond upon the Thames. A nice neighborhood, I hear.
Yeah.
In the decades that would follow, this churchyard would become notorious for hosting the specter of a nun who would hover over the grave of an infamous murder victim named Julia Martha Thomas. But that night, Barnes Cemetery would play host to a very different breed of phantasm. As the office worker made his way down the winding, tree-lined path, past the chiseled effigies that ran along the graveyard's high stone wall, he was stunned by the sudden appearance of a, quote, muscular man hurdling the tall barrier and landing before him with a dull thud. The man's shock quickly gave way to fright as he noticed the interloper's devilish features that came complete with pointed ears, a sharp nose, a goatee, and bulging eyes that glowed demonically.
All right, so you see a big muscular dude, and you're like, "Hey, sailor," and he jumps the fucking wall, and then you notice the devilish features,
Yes.
and then you're like, "Shit,
That,
this could be a thing."
but then again, he could just be a sharp-featured, not quite handsome, muscular man.
I don't know. It
You
sounds
don't-
like
you
he's
don't
got
know-
like sharp features. Maybe
you-
he's a handsome,
you don't-
muscular, jumping man.
All right, it's true. Sharp features are often very handsome, so he could be very good looking. But what really throws you for a fucking loop, what throws the monkey dick in the works, if you will, is the eyes that glowed demonically.
That's generally an issue.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
Well, maybe he can hopefully find someone that's understanding of his glowing eyes.
Wow.
We hope.
If he dates a blind girl,
Oh, it's love
Maybe
it.
they could-
not
maybe they could make
first
it work.
sight. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I smell a Burton movie.
It
All
sounds,
Springfield Jack and the
sounds like
Sweet
a,
Blind
that
Girl. Oh my God,
sounds like
totally.
a total fucking Tim Burton movie.
I guess
shit.
we got to figure out what Johnny Depp's doing for the next 16
Yeah,
months.
really. It's funny. That was the first actor I thought of because that's who he always casts
Always.
in everything.
Everything. All the time. They live in the same fucking house, I think. But we digress.
Bring Michael Keaton back.
I know I miss him. All right. Unlike many of the victims that would follow, this lucky fellow was not destined to be attacked by this anomalous entity. The next people to encounter Jack would not be so lucky. The same month, 3 unidentified women were assaulted by a caped, thin, helmet-wearing figure who tore at their clothes before quickly bouncing away.
So he's just
A
like
rogue.
a cat. Yeah.
A dirty, dirty
It
ruffian.
just sounds like a jerk. Really.
Yeah, super asshole move. Just
Yeah.
don't tear at people's clothes. It's fucked up.
Young ladies.
Yeah, and
Show a
it's
little
women. That's
respect.
kind of fucked up.
I
That's
mean, this
actually
is the
super fucked up.
Victorian era. For all the oppression women had to endure, especially then, at least treat them with a touch of dignity. Bastard. On a cold night sometime in October of the same year, a young servant girl by the name of Mary Stevens had just left her parents' home in Battersea, what a great name for a place, and was walking up to her employer's home on Lavender Hill near Clapham Junction in South London. Mary swiftly slipped past the inky black alleyways wedged between the homes and storefronts, almost certainly afraid of the muggers, hooligans, and scallywags that might be hiding within.
She's in Crime Alley.
She is. She's
fuck-
in London
she's in
Crime
Crime
Alley.
Alley.
Likely counting the steps until she would be safely ensconced in the warmth of her boss's house, Mary was shocked by the bizarre being that leapt out of the shadows to grab her. As profound as her fears may already have been, the thing before her was so much worse than any human criminal her imagination could have ever conjured. The red-eyed Jack grabbed Mary's arms, instantly immobilizing her. Before she could react, the angular-faced fiend began to kiss the terrified girl's face like a twisted version of the classic crime-fighting Lothario, Zorro.
Oh, this is getting bad now.
As if that weren't offensive enough, Jack then ripped open her blouse and groped the flesh beneath with his claws, which Mary later claimed were as cold and clammy as those of a corpse.
So he went from scaring people to like sexual assault, like in a day.
Yeah, that's just that's a big leap too.
That was his leap. He's like, gotcha, and then gonna grope you.
Yeah.
One is like impishly mischievous, and the other
Yeah.
is you're a bag of scum and you need to be put away.
He's pulling a real fucking Matt Lauer on this shit.
Oh,
Jesus
boy.
Christ.
Panicked, the young domestic began to shriek bloody murder. Evidently disturbed by the display, Jack shoved Mary away and jumped directly into the path of an oncoming horse and carriage. In an effort to avoid a collision, the coachman twisted the reins, losing control of the carriage and grievously injuring himself and the footman in the ensuing crash.
I don't know why it's funny to me, but just the fact that he
fuck?
jumps in front of a horse, like he's just like and he jumps,
He's like,
and he
"Ah!"
lands, and he's like, shit, miscalculation. He has to jump again.
Yeah, but fucking this guy tries to get out of the way and ends up destroying the carriage.
Oh, so maybe he jumped in front of it on purpose.
might have.
In my mind, he like pulls like a Boba Fett and doesn't like know how to fucking use his fucking rocket, his jetpack properly.
Right.
He just fucking goes into the Sarlacc.
No,
Well, I
I-
guess actually Han hit him with the fucking staff, but regardless, it just seems like he doesn't. It doesn't seem
You
like
don't
he
know
knows
where
what the
you're going
fuck
with
he's
that.
doing.
Fair enough. And as usual, on point.
Oh my God! All
It
right.
made me laugh on the inside.
That's true. Okay. The eyewitnesses who were drawn out by Mary's cries for help later testified that Spring-Heeled Jack, as he would be dubbed soon after this incident by the press, not only managed to easily avoid the oncoming carriage, but made his escape by effortlessly jumping over a 9-foot wall while simultaneously laughing maniacally and babbling incoherently. What an auditory joy.
Yeah, no, this is.
And he's
Yeah.
What the
fuck is
exactly
that?
what I thought.
Yeah.
And he's just fucking jumping and babbling and cackling.
Oh, good
9-foot
Lord.
jump, dude's got some ups.
Eh, no,
for
truly.
sure.
Yeah. No one can deny that.
No, he's
For
got
all
some,
the things you cannot give him credit for,
Yeah.
like being a big old bag of scum, you got to give the man his ups.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And he's got hype, but he has really terrible social interaction skills,
Yeah, they're going to need to work on that.
especially with women, apparently.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
The men who had rushed out to Mary Stevens' aid attempted to chase down her ungentlemanly attacker, but no trace of him could be found save for the occasional high-pitched shriek that pierced the darkness beyond the wall.
Just imagine.
You still hear it. He's gone, and you're like,
He's just making some weird fucking noise way down.
A half a mile away.
Like, yeah, I can hear you, motherfucker.
You son of a
yodeling.
bitch.
And then all you see is like a random jump in the darkness, and you're like, "Fuck, there he is again!" There's more shrieks.
That's all
and
I can
screams.
see. Like, to me, it's like almost like the fucking chimney sweeps in Mary Poppins, except he was created by Stan Lee in the mid-'60s. And
Yeah.
you just see bounce, nothing, giggle, bounce, this flash of fucking
comes back.
white and black,
Yep.
silver helmet, steel claws glistening
Helmet
in the
fucking
moonlight.
looks cool.
No doubt.
He is a Kamen Rider villain too.
Oh, totally.
Cool, yeah.
Like that is
Yeah.
very.
That's Japanese as the Dickens.
Yeah.
Yes, totally. Following Mary's ordeal, the London press came out in full force, exploiting both the scandalous and newsworthy aspects of the Spring-Heeled Jack affair. Papers began to wildly speculate as to the entity's origins, with theories that ranged from a salacious genius who had designed spring-loaded boots and steel-tipped talons to the more esoteric theories about the possibility, of a supernatural lineage.
Just imagine, like, when you're like, all right, yeah, so it's a genius who has some boots, and you see he got some springs, and then he just steps on them real quick, and then he springs forward.
That is so fucking
He had
Wile E. Coyote.
No fucking control.
Yeah, nobody
over
ever called
anything.
Wile E. Coyote a genius.
That's true.
Well, he did all the time. He referred to himself constantly as such, but that was not
It was
necessarily proven in his results.
That's what I'm saying.
What I will say is that I remember something about Germans trying to put springs in their boots when they parachuted in World War II, I think. And all they ended up with fuck tons of broken ankles.
I was gonna say, just gonna ruin your feet.
That in no way were they able to like leap giant bounds and
Yeah.
assault the enemy from the skies
Imagine being that guy who's like, you're going to jump and you're going to bounce. And then you just hit and you break all your feet.
I mean,
your feet are fucking
that shows like
done.
no knowledge of engineering,
Yeah,
physics,
you
gravity, anything. That is like a 3-year-old thinking
Well,
like a fucking
I mean-
umbrella is going to be working like a parachute.
Yeah, it's
which
good-
I think we all believed at one point in our young
I tried
lives.
it. It didn't work.
No.
Yeah.
I actually tried it with a big garbage bag. I thought,
I
if
tried
I'm
that
up
too.
high enough,
Yeah, no, I
it's
tried
going
that
to fill
too.
with air. The physics works so
Yeah,
well
yeah,
in
no.
like a fucking pre-K
You
mind.
have to.
Yeah.
But that shit does not float.
Well, it was England and it was, early on. So
Yeah, it's true. It was the 1830s after all. But I do not believe it was a gentleman with bouncy boots.
No, me neither.
Remember those moon boots that were out for a while?
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
They're also dangerous.
They were dangerous as fuck.
All right. The identity of Spring-Heeled Jack became the talk of the town, with as many diverse hypotheses about his genesis as there were printing presses. But for all the uproar, the furor eventually died down as no new attacks were reported. That would be until the early days of 1938. Late in the evening in January 1938, a barmaid named Polly Adams was making her way home through Clapham Churchyard in Blackheath when a dark figure jumped over the cemetery wall directly into her path. I think we're learning a lesson here. Stop wandering past dark alleys and in cemeteries.
Yeah.
In London in the 1830s, anyway.
I mean, or travel in groups, which is always smart.
It's always a smart move.
I'm one for, I'm a big proponent of guns. It's my thing. I love
Well,
guns. So maybe carry a
that was not
flintlock pistol.
probably common. It wasn't
Swords.
common in London at all until fairly recently, even with cops.
Swords aren't.
All right, swords maybe, but ladies, they weren't known for carrying swords.
Show me a lady with a sword, good sir.
I'm just
That
saying.
is a woman you marry.
Oh, I'm all about it.
There
Listen,
you
I
go.
advocate women and swords. I'm just saying I don't think it was a common practice, but this was way before the era of stranger danger. Like, you'd think these basic protocols would be instilled, but
Yeah.
it took a long time before
Well-
culture just adopted them universally.
Well, we eventually we evolved.
It's because Spring-Heeled Jacks made us.
Exactly.
That's what happened to change our society.
Exactly.
Okay. The stunned Polly reported that the humanoid creature leered at her with his fiery red eyes before lunging forward, groping her body, and tearing off her clothes with his ironclad fingers.
This guy is just all about he's just constantly groping ladies and ripping clothes, man.
He is obsessed with boobies.
I mean,
Huh.
consent is important here, Jack.
Yeah.
You gotta be like, can I grope you? Can I rip your clothes off?
I mean, even in the 1800s,
That's what you gotta say.
chivalry, dude.
A little bit. Maybe say hi.
An aperitif.
Wait, before you do that, you should always say hi.
Hi, I'm Jack.
Hi.
Is this cool? Awesome.
I'm still doing it. Because he's a dick.
Yeah, he's a prick.
When the metal talons carved deep incisions into her abdomen, the barmaid shrieked in agony. As in the case with Mary Stevens, the sudden ear-piercing scream seemed to agitate the thing, and he released his victim. The bloodied Polly could only stare in disbelief as this vaulting villain wheeled around and launched himself over an impossibly high wall to make his escape. Shaken and terrified, Polly was initially reluctant to report the incident to the police, but she was finally convinced to do so. Amazingly, the series of events that had so titillated tabloid readers throughout London had been dismissed by the local constabulary as little more than hysterical hogwash. That was until Polly and her troubling injuries put authorities into a position that forced them to officially recognize the existence of Spring-Heeled Jack.
Now the cops are involved.
Now they're involved.
The cops.
Days later, more than the cops, you're going to see here. Days later, on January 9th, 1938, the mayor of London, Sir John Cowan, held a public session in the Mansion House in order to officially declare Spring-Heeled Jack to be a public menace.
So the government who got involved was like, this is a fucking thing.
After
Well,
Polly's
yeah, apparently.
incident,
He's fucking groping the ladies and scaring them, and he's cutting up their their abdomens with his fucking creepy claws and shit.
something must be done.
Now we need to get a fucking posse together and hunt this fucker down.
You are more right than you know.
All right.
The Lord Mayor revealed that the police had received complaints from all across London describing a demonic entity with eyes like fire and hands like icy claws that was able to hop from roof to roof with the ease of a bird. The Lord Mayor produced scads of letters from various places in London, including Lewisham, Stockwell, Brixton, Camberwell, and Vauxhall.
All
so
the way
British.
from Vauxhall?
Yeah, all the way from
Vauxhall.
Vauxhall. So
Wow.
fucking
Yeah.
British. All claiming that a considerable and alarming number of people had actually died from fright after encountering the eerie apparition. From Hammersmith came a letter stating that several young women had been so shocked by their encounters with Jack that they had fallen into dangerous fits, quote unquote, and others were reported as severely wounded by claws the miscreant wore on his hands.
So he's killing people by sheer fright.
Death by fright.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's leaving
Fits
scars.
of terror,
fits of terror.
seizures
Right.
of pure panic,
All right.
and, the aforementioned metal claw wounds.
I mean, it does got to be kind of weird if you're living in, like England this time, and the guy's like, all right, look, this is going on. So.
Yeah, when the Lord Mayor, and I don't
Yeah.
know why they call him the Lord
Mayor,
but
yeah.
when the
Yeah.
Lord Mayor,
Is there like a Lord Mayor and then like a sub mayor? Like what's
is it
the
maybe
deal?
because he's knighted? I don't know how that
like,
works.
oh, he could be a knight. But anyway, when your local government comes out and is like, look, we got a Spring Hill Jack problem here, people. That's a time I don't want to live in.
No, when it's officially announced.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely. The mayor then read from a letter of complaint by an individual identified only as a resident of Peckham. After first accusing the unknown entity of appearing in the guises of a ghost, a bear, and a devil.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
A ghost, a bear, or a devil?
Yeah,
Okay.
indeed. The anonymous author went on to declare that Jack's midnight exploits were literally driving women mad, in his own words. The unmanly villain has succeeded in depriving 7 ladies of their senses, 2 of whom are not likely to recover,
Oh, no.
but to become burdens to their families.
Oh, they're vegetables.
Oh, God. At one house, the man rang the bell, and the servant, coming to open the door, this worse-than-brute stood in no less dreadful figure than a specter clad most perfectly. The consequence was the poor girl immediately swooned and has never from that moment been in her senses.
I don't
Unquote.
know what half that means because the way that they talk loses me.
Oh, I
Ben
know.
in her senses.
I love that he's a specter clad most perfectly.
No, I think the unmanly villain. He's like, you're not a man. You're an unmanly villain. Like he's gonna be like, oh, how dare you?
Like Springle Jack's going to step out with his glove and slap him and say, "Duel, sir."
Yeah, exactly. You have earned yourself a fucking duel, my good friend.
Oh, pistols at dawn.
So he came. He just rang a doorbell, and they came.
And she
then-
opened the door,
she was
and he
fucked.
was so frightful, she
Okay.
swooned and has not yet regained her senses.
when you-
Probably to this day.
When you, she's
To this very day.
she's awfully old. All right. Well, I mean, that's still, that ain't right.
No,
That's what I gotta say.
we all agree on that.
That ain't right.
Although the authorities had been initially and understandably skeptical regarding the existence of a glowing-eyed, spring-booted, steel-clawed, demonically dapper ruffian randomly molesting women throughout South London, the flood of reports convinced the mayor and his underlings that there was a genuine threat stalking the streets, alleys, and rooftops of their fair city.
So we're getting enough accounts here where they're like, all right, this is
They gotta do
this
something.
is a thing. All right.
Here's what he does, and it's fucked up. To that end, on January 9th, 1938, Sir John Cowan the Lord Mayor of London, did something virtually unheard of. He formed a vigilance committee.
Oh, cool.
A group of private citizens charged with the task to administer law and order where they consider governmental institutions to be inadequate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Through the marquee.
Fucking
Wow.
fucking mob rules.
With
dude.
its sole purpose being to put an end to Spring-Heeled Jack's senseless and brutal attacks. Cowan had, in effect, created a legally sanctioned vigilante mob to roam the streets at night in search of this diabolically dexterous demon.
But this is something that, like, I know it's probably not a good idea. It's going to end with, I don't know.
Oh, how could that be
people
a good
being
idea
hurt.
in any way?
We would join.
No.
Don't act like we wouldn't.
I don't know, maybe.
Come on.
Dude.
How many
Dude.
how many monster hunts have we covered that we're like, oh, we're going to fucking join? We would totally join
And
this.
just crazy armed people.
Yeah.
moving
You
around.
mean
You're drinking,
if we
you're
were
in
back
London?
then, or if this was happening now in some way?
I mean, I guess both.
Well, listen,
it's
London,
different times,
1830s,
yeah. All right.
you're going to get the plague just walking around the corner.
I think
Everything's a sewer. We've been down this before.
I think we'd have
Yeah.
a good time doing this.
Maybe.
I think if I could convince you guys to come on my anti-Spring Hill Jack, fucking,
Dude, if
hunt.
people were legitimately getting attacked and people just saw like a cape and a mask,
Yeah.
I don't think it wouldn't be a monster hunt. It would just be like it's an asshole dressed up.
And we
Being an
It's an
asshole.
asshole.
yeah, it's an ass.
An old-fashioned
You know what this is,
asshole
dude?
hunt.
This is an asshole hunt. All right. Well, I mean, yeah,
You might be able to talk me into it.
get a couple beers in you. It'll be fun.
Hunting some asshole.
Cutting some assholes. There you go.
Off the record, the mayor remained doubtful that the frenetic fiend had a paranormal pedigree. It was his belief that a cabal of young, bored, and wealthy aristocrats had taken it upon themselves to plunge all of London into fits of terror. However, he did know that real lives were in jeopardy and something needed to be done about it. He could have little suspected, however, just how much worse things were about to get.
So you get the young fucking upper crust kids that
You
are
think it's a bunch of
fucking-
frat boys?
Yeah,
Like,
just doing
basically,
some
yeah.
bullshit.
Dress-
Because that's
up.
what it is.
Yeah.
It
They're
sounds like it could be.
literally
I mean, really,
rich
yeah.
frat boys, and he thinks that they're out there on the town just raising Cain,
Grabbing at the ladies' boobs.
playing grab ass,
Yeah.
being bags.
Yeah, being a bunch of fucking dickheads.
Perhaps the most infamous and outlandish assault credited to Spring-Heeled Jack occurred on February 20th, 1938. According to the February 22nd edition of the London Times, 18-year-old Jane, I think it's Alsop, we're going to call it Alsop,
Okay.
was startled awake by a violent knocking at the door of her father's lavish estate. She rushed to the front door, threw it open, and saw a dark, cloak-clad figure opening the exterior gate and shouting, "I'm a police officer. For God's sake, bring me a light. We've caught Spring-Heeled Jack in the lane." Excited to be part of such a major event, Jane swiftly lit a candle, then hurried back through the door and ran toward the shadowy figure standing inside the gate. As she handed the candle to the officer, he spun around, allowing his cloak to slip to the ground, revealing what Jane would later describe as a most hideous and frightful appearance.
She got Spring Hill jacked by Spring Hill Jack.
Yeah, she got duped.
Boom.
Fuck. He was
She
like,
got
we got
catfished.
him. Yeah, she got catfished by him.
Wow.
I guess it's more of a just a dupe, really. It was like, we got
Yeah, it's
him.
not really
She,
catfish.
she got,
I'm him.
She got cat jacked.
She got
We got
catfished.
him. I'm him.
Exactly.
Oh,
Jane... Fuck, sorry.
You'd be a great narrator.
You've heard me talk for many years.
is
You know.
Guess what? I'm him, bitch.
Here I am.
Dude, you are my
Guess
vote
who-
for...
guess who I am?
If there's a new
It's
Spring Hill
me.
Jack,
Yeah.
it is fucking mine.
Oh, no.
You thought I was a cop, but I'm not.
No, it's me.
You're dumb.
Gotcha.
Oh, my God. Jane would later describe his appearance to a reporter from the London Times, stating, "He was wearing a kind of helmet and a tight-fitting white costume like an oilskin." Now, I looked it up.
Okay.
Oilskin is a heavy cotton material that's been saturated with oils to make it waterproof. So it's basically the 1800s equivalent of spandex
Index
or
suit.
Lycra.
That's what I know.
Yeah,
It's-
really.
It's like
yeah.
this hardened, form-fitting material. So he's
Right.
basically wearing a white... I mean, he's fucking Gotham by gaslight here. He's just got this white,
Or it could be
form-fitting
like
suit.
John Travolta, fucking Saturday Night Fever.
It could also be that.
That's in my mind. I just see Spring Hill Jack with
Oh,
the John
Disco
Travolta
Jack.
pose with
Jesus
the fucking
Christ.
sweet
It's actually
helmet.
tighter, more like a ballet tight.
That could be it too.
Yeah, and I guess it could. Yeah, because
but it's got to be
had
like
bell
thicker
bottoms.
layers because it's like this heavy cotton that's just been,
Right.
cured or whatever.
It
So
can't be
anyway,
comfortable.
that's oil
Do you wear
skin.
underwear underneath that fucking thing, or do you just free ball it?
Oh man, it's gonna be so itchy.
You got to free ball it.
Oh yeah.
Did they even have underwear back then? Was that a
I
thing?
think it was made of like wool and hate.
Ah, fuck. All right.
Plague.
Yeah. Plague undies.
She went on to say, plague on these. His face was hideous. His hands had great claws. As if that weren't strange enough, what happened next was positively surreal, according to Jane. He then vomited forth a quantity of blue and white flame from his mouth, and his eyes resembled red balls of fire. That fucking puts it on a whole new level. of
Yeah.
weird.
He's puking up fire, yeah.
Like the black cloak, the helmet, the fucking white skin tight suit. Okay, that's an eccentric.
Right.
The fucking
Yeah,
bright red eyes.
That's an artist.
And the funny thing is, some people say, oh, he was breathing flames. It's never flames like orange normal flames. It's always blue and
Just
white.
blue.
And it's always either vomiting or spewing or whatever. So it's like it's just blue.
And just
So it's like
Yeah,
a whole
I don't know what that
different
means, really.
thing.
It's weird.
It is weird. And that's
Yeah.
one of the little twists that doesn't get brought up much, but really haunts me for some reason about this guy.
Weird.
As he's wont to do, Jack began tearing at Jane's nightgown with his sharp claws, which the teen was convinced was made of some metallic substance, unquote. Jane screamed as loud as she could and managed to tear herself away from her assailant, fleeing back towards her father's house. Right before she reached the door, Jack grabbed her from behind and shoved her down. Without warning, the teenager felt the devil man's slender, ice-cold fingers slip around her throat and start to dig into her larynx with inhuman strength.
Oh, no.
Gasping for breath, Jane felt herself losing consciousness. Bad scene.
Not good.
Suddenly, one of Jane's sisters burst through the door and began dragging the bleeding teen into the house and away from the salacious scoundrel. Jane's screams had also caught the attention of some passers-by who came running, but just when it seemed as if Jack's legacy of brutality...
Oh, good pull. Halloween. There it is, Rob.
You're
Doing
welcome. Was about to be ended, he flung himself skyward, landing atop Jane's house in a single bound. The eyewitnesses later claimed that he could be seen fleeing above the rooftops with, and I quote, uneasy brilliance.
So he's doing like a pirouette on rooftops?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know, but tell me that's not a great pairing of words.
Well, he was jumping 9 feet, but now he's doing a complete house?
No, rooftop to roof. I mean, he's like
But
fucking
he leapt from the ground
Frank
to the
Miller,
top of the roof.
In
Daredevil.
other words, it doesn't look gymnastically pretty. Probably just looks like he's doing weird thingies,
Yeah,
but
you
he's,
don't
but
know
he's
if
hopping
it's
around.
like, if it's like
you know what I mean?
animalistic, like all four leaping, like Black Panther style, or Creeper, if you want to go weird DC, or if it's
even
like
worse.
you say, like just this
Yeah.
crazy Baryshnikov from hell,
That's what I was thinking.
just
he's just
flitting and twisting and
he's
pirouetting, like you
cackling.
said,
Ah!
giggling and being all like him from Powerpuff Girls meets the Joker,
Oh,
sort
nice. There you go.
Yeah, I picture him just doing like Suspiria dancing.
Oh,
and,
God.
and somehow just getting from rooftop to rooftop, and you're like, I don't know how that's happening by how I'm looking at it.
But
Yeah.
it
You know
is,
what I
in
mean?
fact,
If he's interpreting dancing his way across London's rooftops,
That's what
it is
I-
a fucking
that's what I
nightmare in my
picture.
mind.
that is the uneasy brilliance.
But it has to be.
That's what
What
I'm
else could it
saying.
be? In an intriguing side note, some accounts claim that the cloak that was dropped by Jack before this assault was actually retrieved by an unknown accomplice. Who this individual may have been or what he or she may have looked like are, at this point, matters of pure conjecture. I've only found that reference in one place, and it doesn't have anything corroborating like who actually saw it, or does he have little imps like the homeless street urchins that used to help Sherlock Holmes by like finding clues and putting
He
their
has-
ears
oh,
in the
yeah,
ground?
he's got street folk.
Yeah.
Or he's got like his own Alfred.
Does he got little Oliver Twist, or exactly, or does
Yeah.
he have his own?
Has he got little
if he-
Cratchits?
Oh,
He's got a little Bob Cratchit, bringing it back. Halloween, Christmas, all in one. Tiny Tim's dead.
He's got Timmy Cratchits.
Timmy, R.I.P. Tiny Tim.
uneasy
My
Magic
mind's
Club.
the Cratchit Club. Just a bunch of kids are all crippled. Jesus, that's
I am
terrible.
starting.
Dude, Dickensian London was
I didn't
full
say
of
they're all
crippled,
crippled. I
hungry
just said
kids.
Tiny Tim was crippled.
That doesn't mean they all had to be. Maybe he was just the impetus to start a group of little street kids.
Oh,
that-
is this in like the Dark Knight with fucking the vigilante Batman?
Yeah.
Remember the fucking their faces painted
Oh,
and shit with the
absolutely.
I'm saying.
shotguns? Yeah. All right. I'm sorry I took it to a dark place.
Hey, you're right. It could be uplifting.
All right.
A little over a week after Jane's attack, on February 28th, 18-year-old Lucy Scales and her sister were returning home from visiting their brother, a butcher who lived in a reputable part of the Limehouse district. According to Lucy's deposition to the police, as she and her sister were walking down Green Dragon Alley,
Oh, man.
savor that,
Yeah, that's gonna be a thing.
Yeah, it's some Harry Potter fucking skeevy. They observed an odd man standing at an angle in the darkened passage. So as they're
Standing
making their way
at
down
an
a
angle.
dark, scummy, clearly magical fucking alleyway.
There's a guy
in
that's in a weird.
Limehouse,
All right.
there's this fucking skeevy dude standing at a weird angle.
See?
Whatever that
Dude,
is.
he's Suspiria dancing. I'm
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, no,
I am
you're
right.
right. Everything
Even
you're
though he's just hanging out, he's Suspiria hanging out.
Dario Argento in his prime.
That's what I'm
he
saying.
He had made this movie in the late 70s.
He's just
it would
he's
be a
standing like
masterpiece.
Michael Jackson in Smooth
Like,
Criminal.
oh,
Can you imagine just walking by some guys just standing like
Jesus
slanted?
Christ! Did we just figure out who fucking Spring Hill Jack is? Jesus Christ!
Yeah. He was personally directed by Argento.
Oh my God! If
Yeah.
Michael Jackson had starred as
Possibly
Spring
Michael
Hill Jack
Jackson.
in the fucking Dario Argento production,
Oh, man.
circa '79.
Just trying to
Fucking
slap women's
masterpiece.
breasts. My God.
Oh, good Lord. Okay. He was tall, thin, and covered in a large cloak. Lucy noted that he had the bearing of a gentleman and seemed to be carrying a small bullseye lantern similar to those used by the police. So,
Okay.
besides his crickety lean, fucking
He looks
seems
legit.
Yeah.
All right.
Lucy was walking in front of her sister, and just as she was about to stride past the individual, he suddenly lunged forward and spewed a quantity of blue flame, quote unquote, in her face,
Ooh.
which temporarily deprived her of sight and so alarmed her that she instantly collapsed and was seized with violent fits, which continued for several hours.
Just from getting a little bit of blue flame in the face.
Now I'm starting to
Flame.
think. No, but listen, I know there's all that whole stigma of hysterical, and certainly men were definitely prone to misdiagnose all sorts of things in women and do it in horrible ways. But I'm beginning to think if this is actually a supernatural entity in this unique case, these like moments of abject terror that seem almost like when we were dealing with black-eyed kids, like it seems like there's something preternaturally horrifying about them that goes
Right.
beyond just the fact that they're got red eyes and devilish features and puking fire. Maybe there is something about just their ambiance, be it demonic or paranormal or whatever, the ambiance of this entity that creates this state of unhinged panic
Well,
in his
and
victims.
getting the puked out by blue flame, the vomitorium of
Well,
blue.
yeah, none
blue
of that's going to
flame.
do your psychology
Yeah,
any
no,
good.
not at all.
Lucy's brother corroborated her story in that not long after his sisters left their home, he had heard them screaming somewhere down Green Dragon Alley. He sprinted toward the sounds and was astonished to find Lucy on the ground having what looked like a seizure, while his other sister attempted to hold and comfort her. There was no sign of Jack. Dr. Charles Pritchell, who was brought in to treat the petrified lass, later told authorities that she was, and here it goes again, suffering from hysterics and great agitation, in all probability the result of fright. Again,
Hysterics and agitation.
a perfect 1830s diagnosis.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unlike most other cases, the sisters claimed that the bizarre blue flame disgorging lunatic neither spoke nor tried to touch them. Stranger still, he didn't preternaturally leapfrog his way to safety, but simply walked away from the panicking pair. The authorities were unsure if this was a new MO for Jack, or if maybe, perhaps, it was a copycat encounter.
No, now we got a little bit of the old change up in the MO with Jack.
Yeah.
All right, he
Just
ain't leaping.
sauntering away.
He's not trying to molest anybody, and he's not leaping away.
It
He's
is not
just,
like Jack to leave boobies unmolested and to
Yeah.
And
just
he's not
saunter about.
and he's not carving up stomachs. He's just puking flames, and he's like, "Bye."
Well, that is classic Jack. But yeah,
Yeah.
the rest,
All right.
weird. While the incident involving Jane Alsop was widely covered in the newspapers, the Scales case was only reported by a single paper due to the fact, many believe, that the next victim, that being Lucy Scales, did not come from wealth, but a family of tradespeople. But despite the lack of initial coverage, the combined weight of both the Alsop and Scales incidents served to fuel the shared hysteria infecting all of London. While Spring-Heeled Jack sightings continued unabated, to the point where the nearly 70-year-old Duke of Wellington had gathered arms and taken off on horseback with the intention to hunt and kill the monster himself, it wouldn't be until 2 years later that a human suspect would finally emerge.
So the 70-year-old dude's like,
Same.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
I have had enough.
Where's my musket and my stallion?
I guess we probably should do our English accents, but mine's terrible. I've had enough. Good
Oh.
sir.
Dude, that's
Wow.
barely a John Houseman.
Anyway, the dude he's 70, he's pissed. He gets his blunderbuss, perhaps. He gets in his
yes.
horse. on his horse, and he's like, "I
My
shall
favorite
kill
word.
the beast." That's a shitty Sean Connery, but I can't do a good English accent. You can do a really
Practice.
good one. I should.
Practice.
All my
man.
accents are fucking horrible.
No, yours are real bad.
Oh, I know that.
No, mine are
Trust
bad.
me.
But yours are
My
fucking-
ability to
yours
do
are shit.
mimicry is a fucking nightmare. I'll be the first to concede.
All right, so he's gonna go kill it himself. Good for him.
In 1840, rumors began swirling that an Irish nobleman, one Henry de la Poer Beresford, the third Marquis of Waterford,
That's a big title.
that's a big title, was likely the man behind the mask, or at least the cape and boots. These stories likely stemmed as much from bias against the Irish as they did from the nobleman's horrible reputation for drunken brawling, brutal jokes, and vandalism.
What the fuck
Brutal
are brutal
jokes.
jokes?
I don't know. That's a quote.
What is a brutal
What is it a brutal
joke?
joke? Like, what, is it like just really hurtful?
That's what I mean.
Mean
Uppity,
shit.
elite cut downs.
Yeah, really.
Or is it like something that actually hurts somebody? Like,
Yeah.
like a snake in a can, but it's got dynamite? I don't fucking know.
I like vandalism as this thing too. Like Louis on for vandalism. Like he's just spray painting
Was he
shit.
like, is he peeing on a castle? I mean,
Yeah,
what the
maybe
fuck
he's
does it
fucking
count?
he's tagging shit.
Brutal jokes.
Brutal jokes.
We should all be the uneasy brilliance of a brutal joke.
There you go.
It was also claimed that his contempt for women was so acute that it had earned him the moniker the Mad Marquis. The gossip was only exacerbated by the fact that he was known to have been in London at the same time as the first incidents transpired. Nevertheless, the Waterford Chronicle was able to report that the so-called Mad Marquis, who had, compatriots insisted, mellowed quite a bit since his initial reputation as a spoiled cad had been earned a decade before, was seen by multiple eyewitnesses at the St. Valentine's Day ball at Waterford Castle, giving him an alibi for the reported attack on Jane Alsop. In 1842, the Marquis married and settled down in Curgamore House, Ireland, and reportedly led an exemplary life until he died in a riding incident in 1859.
Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah.
Well, brutal jokes on him. You died by a fucking horse. So
Wow.
there you go.
Nevertheless, in
Supposedly.
1880, he was named as the perpetrator by Reverend E.C. Brewer, who testified that the Marquis, and I quote, used to amuse himself by springing on travelers unawares to frighten them, and from time to time others have followed his silly example.
This from a reverend?
From a reverend.
This guy,
a
he's got-
gossipy old reverend.
He's got, fuck this
Oh,
guy.
it's got to be true.
But I mean, this guy's got brutal jokes. He died by a horse, maybe.
This guy's got the
Listen,
brutalest jokes.
Brutal jokes, death by horse.
In the 1830s, the Marquis was a wild man. We all know
Alright,
that.
yeah, he was
But by
doing
the time
shit.
the 1840s rolled around,
No, he's settled
getting
down.
married, living in Curgamore Castle or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck he's doing.
That doesn't mean he
dying on
wasn't
horses.
doing it on the slide.
He could be. He could have been doing it. He could have been doing it with some friends. You never know.
Innocent until proven.
Okay,
all right.
fine.
Things seemed to quiet down a bit until, in November of 1845, Jack committed his most heinous act yet. And this is where the shit gets real. According to a report by Peter Haining in his pamphlet, The Legend and Bizarre Crimes of Spring-Heeled Jack, this vile villain attacked a 13-year-old London prostitute named Maria Davis. There's about a billion things wrong with that sentence.
Yeah.
The murder, I guess, ostensibly
A
being the
13-year-old
worst.
prostitute's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
Like real bad.
No.
Like uncomfortably bad.
Agreed.
Okay.
After a brief struggle and in full view of horrified bystanders, he threw the child off of Jacob's Island Bridge into the putrid waters of an open sewer known as Folly Ditch. A big old early
Grody
1800s London sewer
He
pit.
just threw a 13-year-old prostitute into a bunch of shit.
The frightened girl was sucked under by the fetid soup and drowned almost
Oh,
immediately.
the fetid soup.
Worst.
The sludge.
Campbell's fetid
Campbell's
soup.
fetid soup.
Now that's got to be a T-shirt. You know that. Campbell's fetid soup.
Oh, where were the fucking bystanders fucking with the,
Yeah,
the
what
rescuing?
you see
it?
a fun-
Throw a rope. Do
Poor-
something to help
well,
the kid.
Jump in. What? There's more than one
Yeah,
here.
whatever.
Tie a
So you
rope.
can wash the turds off.
Send the
save
horse.
save a child.
Send the fucking horse. Horses can swim, right?
I
Fuck
have
'em.
no idea.
Send the
Like,
horse.
would you, in your world, are fucking horses lifeguards on
Yeah,
every important
exactly.
beach?
Fuck them. They're fine.
Send the horse.
You go to
Yeah,
Clydesdale. You're fine.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
man. Oh, we got so much learning to do.
Send in the Clydesdales. Someone fell in a river. Send in the Clydesdales. You worst emergency manager fucking ever. There's a
coolest-
fire. Grab the salt.
Which the horses will bring.
It's another job Chris is going to have to take over.
Yeah, I can't.
Father
be
of truth,
yeah.
master of legends.
Master, yeah, fucking owner of
Economist to
emergency
all.
teams. Yeah.
Yep.
Accountant.
And now when shit goes wrong,
Yeah.
Well,
Chris
we
is
can't
there?
turn to you.
All right.
Okay. It was at this point that Jack seemed to acquire a taste for killing. In 1848, an unidentified man was found dead by a roadside in Surrey. The corpse had claw marks across the face and body, leading many to conclude that it had to be the handiwork of Jack and his wicked metal claws.
That's a jump, but
That's,
okay.
yeah,
Claws
suspect.
are claws.
In 1855, the corpse of a woman identified only as a pretty young girl was found in the village of Hereford. According to the report, her breasts had been marred by deep scratches and her legs were covered in inexplicable burn marks. The cause of death was evidently not recorded, but some have speculated that it may have been coronary induced by panic.
It wasn't the getting
Again, Jack was blamed, but that's pretty sketchy.
I mean,
Yeah.
getting your breasts shredded and burned is pretty fucking terrible.
It's terrible. No one's questioning that. Yeah, that's a
You know,
horror
it's
show.
really bad.
But whether or not it had to be, I mean,
I would assume that
Mere
she would,
mortals
she
can
would have,
burn
that
and
she would
scratch.
have died from fucking like puncture marks and shit, but maybe not.
well, forensics were not fucking at their
But she
top
died
game
of
back
panic.
then.
Okay.
They're gonna say fear killed probably 97% of people that die back then.
Yeah. Well, people were frightful, and fear was everywhere. Hence, people
Fear
died from
was
fear.
everywhere.
Fear was everywhere. Hence,
Pot historian Mark Storrs. Again, in 1855, Spring-Heeled Jack was reportedly seen in Old Hill in Black Country, which it sounds so nefarious. It's like where Hansel and Gretel fucking eat candy houses.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I know.
Leaping from the roof of the Cross Inn onto the roof of a butcher shop across the road. The sighting was followed by a spate of additional observations in the region before the furor died down. In Middlesex in 1863, the body of an old woman was discovered by the side of the road. Unlike the dead man found in Surrey, there were no physical marks that indicated a Jack attack, if you will. But eyewitnesses swore that the woman, and this is a quote, had such fear written across her face that she could only have been frightened to death by a terrifying attacker.
that's a
Again,
it's
okay,
a lead.
yeah.
We're getting
Yeah.
sketchy, but
Yeah.
we're complete here. Through the 1850s and 60s, sightings of Spring-Heeled Jack began to be reported throughout England. So now he's moving beyond the London and whatever the confines he had before, particularly in the Midlands. In 1870, the army set traps to catch him after sentries reported being terrified by a man who sprang on the roof of their sentry box. The traps proved fruitless.
Now the army is getting involved. They're like, we have a situation with this springy-hilled guy who likes to grab women's breasts. Let's set traps.
But they're not even involved then. They don't give a fuck. It's only after the soldiers get spooked.
right. That they're like, all right, let's just let's get some traps set up.
But it
Yeah.
gets even deeper with the military.
Oh no.
The Phantom's run-ins with the military continued when, in August of 1877, soldiers quartered in the Aldershot barracks reported a sighting of Jack, claiming that, and I quote, a sentry on duty at the North Camp peered into the darkness, his attention attracted by a peculiar figure advancing toward him, making metallic noises.
Jack's on the. This,
Is he like clicking the fingers like Dr. Detroit?
this is a Jack attack right here.
It's a Jack attack. The armed guard warned him to stop, but the approaching figure simply ignored his command and continued forward. When the strange, thin fellow was next to the sentry, he slapped him across the face with what was described as a hand as cold as that of a corpse.
This is my favorite part of fucking Spring Hill Jack is that he just slaps a soldier.
He'll just
He
dead
just
up slap
doesn't-
a man
He
with a
doesn't
gun.
grab his boobies. He doesn't fucking shred him. He's
no,
just like,
no.
boom.
You, sir,
That's it.
I do not respect.
One fucking slap, and he's like, that's it.
With his
He's
dead
done.
cold fish
Dead
hand.
cold hand, slap to the face.
Metallic sounds.
Didn't
out.
kick him in the nuts. Didn't pinch his butt.
Nope.
Didn't do nothing. Just a slap.
That's how he does.
Ever slapped a man?
No.
Exactly.
God. Do you know how despicable? I mean, I've never slapped anyone. Needless to
Just
say.
saying.
When you specify man, it's not like, yeah.
Just saying.
No, I don't slap
You
anybody.
slap a man.
But if you're gonna slap a man, I don't even know.
That's bold.
That's degrading.
I
mean, if the guy deserved it,
if you're getting slapped, yeah, you're fucked. But if you're the slappy, you mean fucking business.
Oh.
Because you just slap. Like, what are you gonna do? I
that's
slapped
so
ya.
disrespectful.
Yeah, exactly. Just be a man and fight. You know what? Jack attack.
Wow.
There it is.
Nailed it. The guard shot the man at point blank range. That's what happens when you get fucking slapped.
Don't fucking slap people.
Great follow up. The guard shot the man at point blank range.
And the story was over. Jack died. The world was no. Fuck her.
Yeah.
But the bullet had no visible effect on the trespasser, who vanished into the surrounding darkness in a series of quote-unquote astonishing bounds. A search party was sent out to find the intruder, but not surprisingly, turned up empty-handed.
He shows up, he slaps you, you shoot him, he goes,
Ha! Bounce.
see ya,
Yeah.
and he's fucking jack attack, and he's fucking gone. That's
Yeah,
it.
he slants his way out of here.
He does a weird dance just the whole time. Oh, that's funny. All right, well, I mean, do you know what Jack doesn't give? Fucks.
Fucks. 0 fucks.
And he has 0 rats' asses to give. So
Yeah.
there you go.
That's
All right.
definitely that's the mathematical equation.
Yeah,
It's
there it
provable. In his 1922 memoir, 40 Years On, Lord Ernest Hamilton mentions the Aldershot appearances of Spring-Heeled Jack, adding that similar appearances had occurred when the regiment was barracked at Colchester in the winter of 1878. He also mentioned that the panic became so great at Aldershot that sentries were issued ammunition in order to shoot the quote-unquote night terror on sight. That's fucking, it's getting real.
yeah.
When they're given live rounds and
When
said,
they're like,
kill
here,
it.
here's your shit. If you see this fucking asshole, make sure that you shoot him. All right, well, that happens.
Totes. In September of 1886, the Birmingham Post reported a strange encounter a couple had while walking down the street together, according to the report. First a young girl, then a man, felt a hand on their shoulder and turned to see the infernal one with glowing face bidding them good evening.
The infernal one?
Like, as in Satan?
As in Spring-Heeled Jack,
Oh, all right.
according to the report.
Yeah, sounds-
So referred to now as
Is
the infernal one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who
I
came
mean,
up
he's
from-
got devilish features. Most assuredly, local clerics and reverends were using him from the pulpit to
The
say,
devil,
this
yeah.
is what happens
Yeah.
to sinners and people that go down Green Dragon Alley.
premarital sex. Jack comes up.
I'm sure some scumbag, cited that horrible girl's death as a retribution for prostitution.
Probably.
That's a man you slap. That's the man.
That's a man you slap right
Absolutely.
there. You know, when you see that man, you slap him.
In the autumn of 1877, the well-traveled demon was seen in Newport Arch in Lincolnshire. A mob claimed to have chased and cornered Jack. They fired a volley of bullets at the sheepskin-clad monstrosity, but they had no effect, and the bulletproof specter managed to push his way through the mob and disappear without a trace.
Bulletproof Jack, dude, is like Batman.
Every time. Among the horde was a sentry who was known as an excellent marksman. He claimed that his bullet hit the humanoid, but it seemed to pass right through him, doing no damage whatsoever.
Spectre.
I think he probably just missed.
Later, the mob would find an array of bullets wedged in the building along the street, unable to explain how none of their bullets had hit their mark.
I think Chris may have nailed this. They just all
Really
I think-
shitty aim.
they just all
got
missed.
scared. They all missed at the same time.
No, we shot him. We swear to God, boss, we shot him. All of them. We hit him in the head 9 times. It just didn't. It went through. Okay, fine. He's Lucifer then.
Now's where shit gets heavy. All right. Fair warning. Undoubtedly, one of the most tragic events ever associated with Spring-Heeled Jack occurred in the winter of 1887 and involved the death of a young girl and the first and only lawful conviction of the phantasmagorical fiend on record. According to the December 15th, 1887 edition of the Liverpool Mercury, a coroner's court tried and condemned the devilish brute of frightening a victim to death. Here's the report, beginning with the tragic headline: Child frightened to death.
Oh, well.
Christ.
Wow, okay.
Wait, hold on. Brutal joke. Hold on a second.
This is no longer a brutal joke.
No. All right.
Last night, Mr. S. Brighouse held an inquest at Churchtown, Southport, on the body of Jane Halsall, 7 years of age, daughter of Peter Halsall, gardener, Mill Lane. The father said the deceased met him last Wednesday as he was returning from work, and told him that the children with whom she played said the Liverpool ghost, Spring-Heeled Jack, was coming to Southport. She afterwards repeated the statement to her mother, who tried to allay the child's fears by telling her that the ghost was dead and buried. I don't know if that's the most comforting way you can do it, but she tried.
Yeah, okay.
During the night, the child became seriously ill, and when Dr. Hawksley was summoned the next night, he found her unconscious, in which state she remained until her death. About 6 hours before the deceased expired, she was heard to say, "The ghost is coming." The cause of death was certified to be congestion of the brain. Classic.
Congestion of the brain?
Due to fright. The coroner remarked that whoever impersonated the ghost was a mean and despicable fellow. When he learned that he had caused the child's, this is what the doctor said. When he learned that he had caused the child's death, he would no doubt feel it very much. It was such a monstrous thing that a man should have the power to strike terror into children and timid people in this way, that he hoped the delinquent would be caught and that and be the recipient of severe punishment if the law could reach him. The jury concurred in these remarks and returned a verdict of death by fright.
The fuck is a verdict? How is the jury determining how this poor girl died?
1830s medical science.
All right, fine. I know we can't question it. I
or
know.
40s
All
or
right.
70s at this point. I don't even know where we're at.
Yeah,
No, we're in
really.
1877.
Okay, so
Let's just blanket it. 19th century
all right. Well, that whole
medical court science.
that whole situation's fucked.
Could you imagine an episode of Law and Order set back then?
Yeah, really.
It'd be all fucked
Jesus
up.
Christ.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. It's
I mean,
sad.
not to talk shit, but they're fucking dumb.
Well,
Just
yeah.
saying. Fucking
No,
stupid.
I mean, the Renaissance helped. The Industrial Revolution
That's
helped.
the deal.
Science is important, everybody. Let's never
Can't
forget
stress
that.
it enough.
We take it, we take it
Vaccinate
for
your
granted,
kids.
but boy, let's never just, you can believe whatever silly shit you want. I like the Great Pumpkin. We all have our things. But fucking, let's just make sure we protect science.
All right, death
because
by fright.
otherwise, we're all going to fucking die by fright at a fucking coroner's inquest with a jury of our peers. And it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I'm not in. I'm not
Christopher died of congestion of the brain from fright.
It was probably, I mean, a pre-existing heart condition. I mean, maybe she was driven to it by
been a lot.
fear, or maybe it just happened to be a bad night that accompanied a traumatic physical event. Either way, it's
I don't
sad.
think anyone dies of fright, but okay. Continue.
Despite the lack of tangible evidence, the fact remains that Jack really was, at least once, found guilty of murder in a court of medical law.
Yeah.
Christ.
Finally, in 1904, some 67 years after the initial encounter, the entity known as Spring-Heeled Jack was seen one last time in Liverpool. For over an hour, the elusive figure was seen hurtling up buildings of great height, then plummeting down again without the least bit of deference to the laws of gravity. As had happened so often before, an impromptu posse quickly formed to rid their community of this infernal apparition. But Jack would have none of it. He leapt to and fro, easily evading the armed men with a high-pitched, taunting squeal. God, the sounds this fucker makes. Finally, the mob managed to corner the inhuman thing at the end of a narrow alley. Yeah, can we all guess how that's going to end up?
Yeah, he's gonna do the old 1990s fucking Batman and just zip up
except
there.
he doesn't have
There
the
you go.
sweet
Not
fucking
even. He's
grappling.
gonna like crab walk or do a cartwheel somehow.
Can you imagine
Cartwheel.
cartwheeling up the side of the
Yeah,
building?
because you're like, that's
Oh.
not possible, but
He's
somehow
gonna ask
doing
Kim
it.
Basinger how much she weighs, and then they're gonna zip
Yeah.
line to love.
He's gonna
There
do
you
a
go.
slanted moonwalk. However that works.
Yeah, that is creepy.
Non-Euclidean moonwalk.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The worst.
And he's just moonwalking away. Fucker!
Well, yeah, he's got a
Lots
high-pitched
going off.
voice.
Oh man.
Just saying.
All right.
But if any of the men descending on this evil entity were naive enough to believe that they'd soon be heralded as heroes for their capture, they were soon disappointed as Jack, true to character, launched skyward with a maniacal giggle, vanished into the darkness, and was never seen again. Which is not exactly true, but we'll get to that in a second.
Jesus Christ. And he's back.
It's weird.
And finally, but not finally.
I think it is finally.
Finally,
but
6 more pages.
I'm just watching Chris counting the pages as I turn them. He's like, what
No,
the
I was
fuck?
just looking at him.
Oh, it's funny. All right, so he's gone, but he's back.
Are we not having fun?
Listen, Jack Attack.
All right.
Jack Attack.
yeah.
Here we go.
Following his decades-long attack on the bodies and psyches of British citizens, and fueled by at least 3 pamphlets that were published about this most harrowing crime spree.
You know how I feel about pamphlets,
It's
right?
my
I know.
favorite thing
I really
in the world.
fucking hate pamphlets.
It's always
Every
a
time,
pamphlet.
I was like, I'm making a pamphlet. I'm like, fuck you. All right? Fuck you.
I know, write a novella at least.
stop.
Expand it.
Want to see my pamphlet? No, I don't.
You know what? I love a
Gerald,
zine.
I
love a
don't.
zine. I love a book. I love anything but a fucking pamphlet.
Fuck your pamphlet.
That's like the liar's reading device.
You sons of bitches.
Oh, fuck a Kindle too.
Yeah.
Kindles and pamphlets.
All right, calm down.
Piss off.
Calm down.
I like books. Trees must die for me to love a book. I'm sorry about that. might want to cut that.
No.
That was horrible.
Come on,
I'm going to actually make it really loud.
Yeah, come on, emotional plant
Plants
guy.
feel.
Yeah, and you,
Let's get
and you
into
just
that.
wanted
Let's
to kill
digress
him.
for
I'm
an
going to pitch
No.
shift it. It just still sounds really satanic.
Trees must die. Fuck you, trees.
And
Pamphlets aside, Spring-Heeled Jack left scars that many would never recover from. Parents began to employ his name as a sort of boogeyman to frighten their kids into behaving by telling them that if they were not good, Spring-Heeled Jack would leap up and crawl through their bedroom windows at night. Fucking spot-on parenting.
cool. I'm gonna try that tonight with my kids.
Yeah, Freud would have a field day with that one. In the void where answers ought to have been, investigators have proposed all kinds of theories as to the origins of this entity, from alien to demon, and this is my favorite, to some kind of Victorian-era robot built by an unknown mad genius that ran amok through London for over half a century.
The fucking robot theory is kind of cool, except that they didn't have robotics.
Oh, well.
So, just saying.
Antithekira mechanism? Huh?
I mean, kind of, I don't know, maybe some cool steampunky thing,
Yeah.
but really?
I know it is steampunk as the dicks.
Really? Like, I don't know. We'll see.
The android ornithopter.
Yeah.
My favorite word.
Android ornithopter.
Yeah, ornithopter's a great word. Well, they had those crazy little automatons that just
Alright,
basically
well,
did
yeah, but this thing, he's
shitty little
he's
motions.
he's molesting women and leaping fucking
I will
beats and
grant you,
bounds.
fire-puking, red-eyed,
Yeah.
booby-touching, super jump
It's a
robot.
super inappropriate robot.
It seems like it's a stretch for the 1800s.
Exactly.
I think we can all agree.
Seems.
But it's
Seems.
still my
Could
favorite
be.
theory.
All right,
By far.
okay.
Come on, Victorian
Well,
era
I
robot.
think we're going to be circling alien or demon here, but we'll see what happens.
It's true. It,
Okay.
can, it can go anywhere. Others have suggested that Spring-Heeled Jack might not have been a man or monster, but a group of specially trained men who donned the costume as part of a bizarre, possibly occult ritual.
Okay.
So it's a group of
Yeah.
men. Like it's a lineage that passes
Right,
on. And when
and this
one,
is how they
one
do it?
thin, frail, angular-faced man gets too old, he passes the suit to his successor, and he
Sure.
goes out and does fucking whatever. Like it's a. Do you guys remember this old Turkish superhero film? Chris, I know we watched it together. It was called, like Dr. Satan or something, but the superhero was called Copperhead. And it was basically a ripoff of Mexican wrestling movies.
Yeah.
But kind of like Santo, which is a better example, and I should have used it to begin with. The mask gets passed from father to son.
right.
When the father gets too old, the son takes the mantle.
Yeah.
Except if the mantle is just molesting women and throwing children to their death and frightening
That's-
toddlers.
that's
Yeah,
a
I don't know the
weird-
mission statement.
Yeah, I don't get that.
What's that?
The dad comes out, it's like, son, he's like, oh, sweet, what do I do?
Here's your oilskin suit.
Touch boobs.
Your cape, your helmet.
Evasion.
Kill
some
children,
kids.
touch boobs, and scrape the flesh off their bones.
And jump. Always jump
Yeah,
higher.
always jump as high as you can. Yeah, with your
Jump
special.
high and terrify.
I mean, that seems like a stretch.
family motto.
I mean,
Put it in Latin.
yeah, that seems like a stretch. But all right, I mean, unless maybe there's to this day some fucking old dude who's like, I've got my grandfather's trunk, and in there is the fucking last
The jack,
spring-heeled
the
jack.
oilskin whites and
Yeah,
the cloak and the helmet.
Fuck.
The
Man.
bitter gloves of touchy doom.
Yeah, touchy doom. The bitter gloves of a toucher.
All right. Here's another theory, which is kind of interesting. Some pulps have suggested he might have been a disgraced nobleman who used terror-inspiring garb to wreak vengeance on his perceived enemies. Though one can scarcely imagine what teenage girls and younger may have done to provoke his wrath.
Yeah, that doesn't make
So
sense.
that's another one's a little sketchy. It's difficult to imagine the kind of panic that gripped London in the wake of these all-too-close encounters. It must be something akin to being in New York while the Son of Sam was still at large, or Boston at the height of the Stranglers' brutal onslaught. But there was a terrible twist with Jack. He did things no human could do. He cared not one whit about the sanctity of life, and over the course of his over century-and-a-half career in mayhem, neither the police nor even the armed forces were unable to stop, much less capture, this gravity-defying deviant. In the end, the legacy of Spring-Heeled Jack may be as much about the psychology of panic and the virulence of fear as it is about the unknown entity with inhuman abilities who terrified an entire nation.
Oh, the legacy of brutality, Spring-Heeled Jack.
So,
Yeah.
All right, well, he's a touchy-feely fucking dude,
yeah.
man.
No, he's not a hero. He's not
No.
one to be like when Bobby Brady was looking up to Jesse James. we all learn from a young age.
Yeah.
Spring Heel Jack is not to be your mentor.
No. He's got to keep his hands to him. You know what, Jack? You jump, but you know what you do? You keep those hands to yourself.
Yeah, if you only jumped and spooked, you know what? I can almost support your anarchistic savoir-faire.
it's his art. Is that what you're
it's
saying?
his art. If he was like the Andy Kaufman of the 1800s,
Yeah,
who's
he
out
just
to terrify,
cackled.
and he had like weird incandescent spectacles.
You can't go
and-
tickling ladies' breasts. It's not
Oh,
right.
the scratching, the tickling, and the murdering.
And the murder,
Yeah, that crosses
he
lines.
tossed the kid into what was it, the torrid pit of shit or something like that.
Torrid pit of shit. I wish I'd written it.
Wow.
You've outwritten me. I'm so proud of you right now.
All right, so there's obviously a lot of different, I think, ways that we can sort of approach this, which a lot of it we already actually did in the story, but the whole, like mass hysteria thing is kind of interesting with this because it seems like it started as kind of like there's obviously reports of these attacks, but then it's almost like word is a virus where it spreads.
Absolutely.
Like that. What was that? Fuck was that movie Pontypool? Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I vaguely
not a
recall that
good,
one.
not
No.
a good example, but still, sort of one of those things where like
an interesting idea,
It's a
nevertheless.
cool idea, yeah. But maybe like where maybe a couple of attacks did happen. Maybe it did exactly happen how they say, and all of a sudden it just spreads to the country, and next thing you know, there's fucking Spring Hill Jacks everywhere.
It definitely seems like it's it almost has to be a combination of some real events. Granted, some real events that might have been misinterpreted, may have been exaggerated, may have seemed more supernatural than they actually were. And then that capturing the public imagination, or even possibly, I'll go on a limb here, and an actual paranormal event or two.
Yeah, could be.
But that, like you say, through the virus that is terror, it spreads, and all of a sudden people are just seeing it everywhere. Like, to me, the two separate phenomenons are decidedly a pop culture and psychological phenomenon that absolutely is in play. What is either a really extraordinarily executed and prolonged hoax, or a couple of genuine supernatural encounters peppered up by some copycat hoaxers and then amplified by a nationwide plague of sightings, most of which are probably inside of people's heads.
This might bring us back to my Roy Burns theory.
Which is?
Remember Roy Burns?
I don't.
He impersonated Jason.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like,
my
you know why?
fucking God.
It's Halloween.
So Friday the 13th
Friday
is
the
apropos.
13th is
Okay.
Halloween. Fuck you. Roy Burns theory aside. It could be a series of copycats, totally. There is definitely... When you get to shit like where this poor little girl dies and they're just like...
Which is horrible.
And a fucking court determines the fucking the lack of an autopsy, and they're like, oh, it was Spring Hill Jack. Like, shit like that is what makes me think this is hysterics. This is people that are just caught up in the moment and
100%
freaking the fuck out.
That is part of what's going on.
The actual attacks that happened in the first two the first two
early
attacks
ones
seem to be sort of legit. Like there seems to be enough evidence to back it up. Where
think-
the mayor's getting involved and he's like, "Hey guys," I'm sorry, the Lord Mayor.
Yes.
Or he's like, "Hey guys, there's this fucking
No,
there's
it's clearly
obviously something going on."
a dude went around, or somebody went around,
Right.
and did some creepazoidal stuff.
Yeah, it was being
Whether
a real
it was the
fucking
same
toucher.
person or not.
Right.
Maybe it was the Marquis of Madness or whatever the fuck his name was.
Up to that, it sounds
Madness.
fairly legit. They found out this guy just was a fucking creeper. And
It
did
could have
some
very
shit.
well. That could have been the entire
But-
story. Is that dude doing that shit?
All right.
But
so-
not the later ones.
No, the later
and
ones
not-
are kind
there's-
of when you get to him slapping the guard.
And being bulletproof.
And being bulletproof?
Or standing
Yeah.
in front of an armed mob.
Yeah.
Bullets all over the
Jumping
wall he was
away.
in front of.
Yeah.
See, those are the things that are either legitimately inexplicable or then you're talking about literally dozens, if not scores of people lying. Now, it's one thing to think you see him on rooftops hopping and it's like a trick of the eyes combined with your own fear. But it's another thing to be part of an organized posse. And
Going to
even
hunt
if some
him,
of the
yeah.
guys, even if it's like bullshit, like fishing stories where, he was this big and, we almost got him. At least a couple people are going to be putting down the legitimate story, like are going to tell their heirs or write it down like, yeah, no, it was a cat, got fucking caught up in the nightshirt of old Miss O'Reilly and was just waddling around and we shot it 3 times.
But I
and
could
got
see a
away.
whole group of militia people all missing and not wanting to look like dickheads.
Yeah, totally.
And going, oh no, we got him.
Yeah, the marksman
Like, you know
definitely
what- you
missed
know what
the
I mean?
mark. Yeah.
I can totally agree with that.
Only in that situation.
I mean,
would understand
unless
that.
maybe he is, he has a phasing ability like fucking Martian Manhunter, fucking Vision. I mean,
Right.
maybe he can phase.
All right, for the sake of argument, because we're going to have to deal with all of this, let's just assume that it is what they say.
All right,
So
yeah.
what are we dealing with here? We're dealing with
I mean,
what
a
isn't
humanoid
off
creature.
the table?
Well,
Everything's on the table.
I think that this actually, and this is perfect timing. This goes back to the old fucking go-to, the old Heller space.
So demon or alien?
Sit down, children. Let Papa tell you about the old Heller space, where it comes from hell or it comes from space.
Those are two of the main theories.
Could be. I mean, we're talking demonic or we're talking alien. The alien thing's interesting because it kind of has a Superman effect of like gravity's different for it. Which
Yeah.
would completely explain how it can fucking jump and leap and Baryshnikov of Suspiria across fucking London and not give two fucks.
True.
Might also even kind of play into the whole blue flame thing.
If it's flame, I'm
If
still
it's
not
flame.
even convinced it's
If it's a blue
but-
flame, that means you're burning like zero oxygen, and then you're fucking. That's gonna be that's like a cutting torch. That's just gonna melt you.
I don't see how someone could fake that.
A
Not
cutting
at that
torch?
time. Like,
I don't
like,
know, but
assuming
people
that that's
again,
what people
I mean,
saw.
if you have alcohol in your mouth, you like that.
Is it going to be blue flame?
I think that I'm dumb, but I think that fire only burns not blue when it's getting fed too much oxygen. I'm almost positive. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Somebody out there is smarter than me. Chuck Quilty, I'm looking at you because I know he's listening and he's a smart guy. He could tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Fair enough.
Blue's a hotter flame.
Blue is a
right?
hotter flame, yes. Because when you're using a cutting torch, when you ignite it and you're changing your acetylene settings on it, guys, I did this week. I didn't almost cut my hand off.
So
With
glad.
fire.
Yeah.
You get it blue, and that's what you actually melt metal with. So if you hit flesh with that, you're toast.
And he belched it in a woman's face.
But also, too, you've seen people doing shots of alcohol and it catching on fire, and that's blue because it burns off super quick.
Right.
Because there's no oxygen there to feed it.
Okay, so we'll save that for the skeptical pile.
Okay, well,
we're talking
you know-
about
you know
the
what?
potential of something weird, and we would agree, I guess, that if it was extraterrestrial or demonic, it could possibly puke flames, have red eyes,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
not
there's-
be a slave to gravity,
All right.
have devilish angular features. The pointed ears are a dead giveaway.
Ah,
I
he's a
guess.
sexy alien, or he's a sauntry demon.
He probably would.
He's here for our women. We know that.
He would be like fucking fronting for a proto Jane's Addiction or something.
Let's just say that I
hyper goth band.
I think that we've covered all the skeptical stuff pretty well. It's all there. It could be plenty of fucking things.
Yeah, all right. So it's fucking
It's Heller space.
aristocratic frat boys spitting flaming alcohol
There
at
you go.
debutantes' faces.
Yeah.
I don't know what accounts for the
Playing
red glowing eyes.
playing grab booby.
Playing
There you
grab
go.
booby.
Yep.
Doing it with metal claws and getting a little too vigorous, not meaning to kill until, of course.
Oh,
they
we're
do.
not letting them off the hook. They're fucked.
Yeah.
They'll
yeah.
have to be
Well,
shot.
if it is indeed them,
Yeah.
So if we're
The
talking
same them.
if we're talking Heller space,
Right.
Chris, where do we go from Heller space? What do you think?
you can go anywhere at that point.
What's
I
broad
mean,
spectrum?
Demonic.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can't. How do you place it anywhere? Really?
You-
Like it's,
well, okay,
If
so-
all of it's true, if everything they said is true about it,
Right.
Then
what do you do?
it's too much.
Like, yeah. What do you?
No,
Where do you
that
go?
goes.
Yeah. He's a
you know,
supervillain,
That goes
basically.
past ultra terrestrial. That goes into like truly diabolical.
It just could be anything, really. At this point.
hyperdimensional, beyond the pale. It's something that is like petty and cruel, like an Old Testament God that just for some reason likes the base urges of inspiring terror and, giving into, sexual urges, and should be beyond it if they have all these abilities and skills, but
No, man,
aren't.
he's grabbing boobs.
Like it could be like an old-timey god, an ancient pagan god that is just unleashed and doing his worst. I don't think that's the case, but I'm just saying
Well, I
Chris
mean-
is right. But it's bigger than your average,
Yeah.
just weird thing floating through the woods.
Right.
Like, yeah. What
This
do you
is
do?
expansive.
I
mean-
mean, as much as it could be that it could entirely be a robot.
If it's an extraterrestrial,
Like, I mean,
design.
a robot would be able to spit fire more easily in my mind because there's a physical way to make that happen than
than
just
an
saying,
actual
"Oh,
person.
a
Unless it's
demon."
I mean,
Because physically, we don't know
but,
how.
Yeah, well, unless it's
But
a
I'm
living
assuming-
thing, that's how it
Cons-
interacts with oxygen.
That's what I mean. We have
I'm
no way to
assuming
know.
if it's a demon, though, I
quantify
mean,
that.
don't demons? I mean, I guess a demon could.
Assuming it's a demon, they could do it, so it's a demon.
Demons do that? Like, I don't know.
I mean,
ghosts,
in our
like-
real world,
Right.
we can make a robot that does that.
Yeah, we can. We can totally do that.
We
But
don't know how to make an organism
No,
spit
but
fire.
we also know how to. Well, we can spit fire though. If you use like alcohol and a lighter, you can totally do that.
That's possible.
You can easily do that with like super high proof.
Yeah, but they
super
didn't have a
high-test
lighter.
alcohol.
Then
Ooh, it's true. There wasn't a lighter. Maybe some sort of flame device in his finger. He'd have to fucking look at his little metal claws.
I'm just saying, going from the report, they didn't say
Right.
like he held up Gene Simmons to fucking. They said they.
Is this Gene Simmons? Did we just uncover this?
Yeah,
Is
no
this
doubt.
the reign of terror
I think
of
it's
Mr.
fucking
Gene
Mortis.
Simmons? You think it's Mortis?
No.
It looks like Mortis.
It kind of
Dances
does.
like Michael Jackson.
It must be Jack the Ripper. Or not Jack the Ripper. Fucking Spring Hill Jack. Oh shit. All right, I like your Mortis I like your Mortis
I don't know.
inclusion.
I can't quantify it if it's all real. That you can't.
Yeah.
No,
can't.
it's
Yeah.
impossible. But I think that what we're probably likely dealing with is a few incidents that maybe are genuinely paranormal. I mean, it's very difficult to explain the jumping more than anything else. Like, unless everyone's lying, every girl that sees him, every
The
posse
jumping
that runs into
The
him,
really
jumping
could
is
be
the one consistent thing to it
Just
all.
really dope
Except
at like
in
a
that one
grappling
weird
hook,
case.
and just people
A
are not
grappling
seeing it.
hook?
Yeah,
Oh.
if it's dark and he runs down an alley and just.
Is that how
yeah, but he's
grappling
not
hooks
not
work?
walking himself up the side of a building
Dude,
Batman
no.
style. He's never reported doing. He's always reported jumping.
He can right. It looks like he's jumping, but it's got this dope little pulley system.
Oh, the dope pulley system. Yeah,
All right.
could.
I mean, the odds of that is the same odds as a robot to me.
It's true. It's true.
Dope little pulleys.
A dope pulley system.
I
All
would
right.
totally want the Spring Heel Jack home kit,
Yeah,
like they
totally,
used to
dude.
make those Spider-Man and Iron Man. They still do, actually.
Yeah.
Toys
I
where
love
you get
those.
the face and the web slingers.
It's just stuck like that. And remember
Yeah.
the hook, and then you just it went up.
Yeah.
Oh, the toy. Yeah,
toy,
I
yeah,
love
totally.
that one, too. No, I mean like the actual suit you can put on.
Oh,
That would be dope as shit. So it's weird if it's fucking real. It's
Still weird if it's not.
Yeah,
it's fucking
if
weird.
it's weird either way. I mean, and now was he ever tied into the whole Jack the Ripper thing?
Yes.
That's why.
Some
that's why I
people have
mentioned Jack the
speculated
Ripper, yeah.
that maybe they're the same, but that is really vague. And one of the reasons I said that it's over, but it's not over, is that appearances of a very similar entity happened in New Mexico and I think Texas. So in the
Wasn't
early
there in like the Ukraine
20th
too, right?
century, yeah.
Yeah.
And even in 2005 in England, somebody reported seeing something that looked shocking. But nowadays, you could easily find
I
a
know.
way. If you found somebody really good at parkour and they're basically dressed
Yeah,
like Judge
yeah.
Dredd and they're doing some crazy shit with some light in the dark eyes,
so you're right. That's what I'm saying.
then
Fucking, I am the law, and he just parkours away. Like, oh shit, I've been served.
yeah, then you might be
You're
able
going to a
say
fucking
that.
ISO cube. There you go.
But I really do think it's one of those unique combinations of the frailties of the human psyche combined with, I mean, that would be a fucking demon's MO, to just plant a seed
Yeah.
and let the terror spread. To the point where possibly even though I know we all agree it's a dubious diagnosis, a poor, frail, sickly little girl might get herself into such a tizzy that her heart gives out.
I think that may have been just placed on him because they had nothing else to do.
It was probably
They're like, oh, Spring Hill
meningitis
Jack.
or
Yeah,
something
yeah, I know.
horrible.
Yeah,
But yes.
Yeah, I don't think he actually killed that.
And
little
here's the
girl.
other thing,
but
too.
he did kill the other one by throwing her in the shit pit.
A shitbag pimp that's fucking, I don't even know how it worked back then in
Oh,
England.
you're saying the
who's
pimp
like,
killed her?
Like, fuck it, I'm going to throw on the helmet and the cape and everyone's going to say Spring Heel Jack killed her. Like, at this point, you could start doing, like, if you're like a scumbag molester, you're like, I'll just don the outfit and everyone's going to blame that
Yeah,
fucking guy.
I mean,
of
if-
course, then you still have to escape
By jumping
and
awfully high.
assume that if no one catches you, because if they do catch you, then you're going to get saddled with all of
Yeah.
the Spring Heel Jack
Yeah.
fucking murders, touchings, scrapings, whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be
Yeah.
a real shit. Like, it might seem like a good plan at first. Like, everyone's just going to think it's this demonic entity. But when Bill Riley gets busted, he's like, fuck.
Fucking Bill Riley.
Fuck.
Really? Fucking Bill O'Reilly when
Oh,
he
I don't
gets
even know.
busted.
Yes, that I can see it. He's another one you'd slap.
Yeah, I can see him doing that.
All right, so hell or space, demon, criminal, alien,
Or combination
or
thereof.
combination thereof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or again, possibly this could just be mass hysteria. I think that we're all over the board with this one.
Yeah,
Really.
well, you
What
kind of
if-
have to be.
What
Yeah.
if aliens made a deal with Satan and it was a partnership, one of those rarely
Dude.
seen? Because something that hails from another galaxy
made a
or
deal.
even dimension might not just have typical earthlings to deal with.
No.
Maybe they can deal with angels, demons, fucking deities from Hindu mythology,
Okay,
whatever.
so-
when they go to hell, they're like, hey, listen, let's do an exchange program. Let's
All
work
right.
this out. We need to extract terror from humans because it gets us really high.
Right.
But we look like Teletubbies. They didn't know what they were then, but they can see in the future. We can't do it. So he's
Like
like,
Tinky
oh,
Winky.
this guy,
Yeah.
Jack.
All right, so-
he's your man.
Hell and space
So
together combined.
erotic terror creates this fucking awesome buzz for the aliens. They let the demon do it. He extracts it, gives it like a deal,
All
a
right,
barter.
all right, gotcha.
Actually,
No,
I think
get you.
it's a robot then, because Satan's like, I can't make a robot because I can't create.
So maybe-
he needs the aliens to make the robot,
Jack
and
is
he's like, but you got to
stuck
make it
in
look like a
hell.
demon.
But they built the robot to look exactly
like
like
a
a demon.
demon.
So the demons were like collabing with the aliens, saying, "No, more angular.
Yeah.
Point them ears up.
Oh,
At first, it was
wow.
blocking. It's like, no, you got to have the nose. You got to
Yep.
have the fucking.
No, do you want this to
man.
terrify and titillate?
Yeah.
Listen to me.
All right, it's ready. Does it breathe fire? Nope. Well. Back at it, fuckers.
Come on to the drawing
Oh my
board.
god, this is easily like a fucking 15-year project.
Oh, it would take
Just
a long
getting
time. Like they
dragged
started
out.
in the 1700s.
Oh, Jesus
they worked
Christ.
this
They
out until
finally got it done.
1837. They fixed it up. All of this is in the files of Operation fucking Pitchfork.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
which
sure.
we have mentioned
Yeah.
before.
And then it came to life, and they tried to control it, and it's crazy because
Muskrat.
because
it
it's
saw
fun.
it saw
It's got
itself.
demon
Yeah.
logic.
It went nuts, and they're like, oh, "Fuck it, we don't know. No one knows."
Fucking, we don't know. This thing's muskrat.
They just let it go.
Aliens
Muskrat
left.
boobs.
Satan can't
Yeah.
do anything about it.
Muskrat boobs. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It wants to grab boobs. What do we do?
Plausible deniability. Nobody's taking responsibility
Oh
for
man,
it.
they made a fucking touchy molesty fucking robot, and
Yeah.
then they're like, we can't control it.
Science
Fuck it, let it
fucks
do
up. That's part of the deal. As much as I
Well,
was
Luciferian
batting for
science.
yeah, Luciferian science. Yeah, interdimensional Luciferian
Oh,
science.
man.
Almost, it's got like a 78% chance of going rogue every time.
Man, we went so deep. I just wanted to think that it was going to be a demon. Really, I wanted it to be simple. I'm like, it's a demon. He's cool. He's kind of a dick.
An alien robot demon that goes rogue is
All
so
right.
much more satisfying.
All right,
That,
well,
that
there
makes
you go.
sense in my
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah, you know what, Chris? You and Rob have sold me on this. They fucked up. They got too
They
big for their
fucked up.
science. Yeah.
Isn't that
They
really what it
fucked
always comes
up.
down? When something this weird happens,
Like, you
it
fucked
always comes
up.
down to that one sentence.
Yeah.
They fucked
They
up.
fucked
Yeah.
up. There it is. All right. So there you have it. Spring Heeled Jack continuing. Hey, this is the end of our October celebration because Halloween's this week.
Yes, days away.
So, be sure to enjoy your Halloween. Do like creepy, spooky shit, but do it like within consent and do it within be normal about it.
Yeah.
Don't jump and touch women inappropriately and breathe fire on them and do fucked up shit because that's fucking rude.
That's
and
fair.
no one needs that shit.
Yeah.
So,
So a non-Spring Heel Jack Halloween.
yeah, exactly.
Safe,
That's what I'm
fun,
saying. Listen,
Sexy Halloween.
Well, you do your parkour safely.
yeah, absolutely.
listen,
Work on your grappling hook / pulley system.
yes, do your parkour, get your grappling system. If you have a sexy outfit, you know what I'm going to say? Wear it.
Do it.
Do what you want to do.
Feel good about you.
Although I did see a sexy Mr. Rogers outfit, and I was like, huh, weird.
That's going a little left field.
Well,
I don't know if I'd even recognize it as that.
Yeah, just
Because
Yeah,
if
it
there's
was-
one thing
yeah.
when I think sexy, it's always Fred Rogers.
yeah.
So I guess,
no, it's
I
not
was
exactly-
wrong.
That's
it's
true.
not what I think at all. So enjoy your Halloween. Be safe. Be spooky.
Do it.
Yeah, do all
Boom.
that.
Much fun.
So
Be careful with your robots.
Yeah, be careful. Yeah, if you
Like,
fucking build
If
a
you
robot,
think you're done,
make sure you
go
kill
through
it.
all the way.
Yeah,
all the specs
totally.
one more time.
Totally.
Because you just never know.
T Public. It's
Yeah, we're only doing it, what?
yeah,
Fucking 150
I
times
fucking
now.
still can't remember how to end the show. T Public. Visit our T Public shop. It is hellorspace.com.
It is.
We have that. We recently launched a new Hell or Space T-shirt. Actually, a Black Sabbath Volume 4 little parody. Check that out. We've got stickers, pins, magnets, t-shirts, totes, hoodies, all kinds of fun stuff over there. Patreon.com/Kryptonaut Podcast. $1 will get you a shout out. $5 will get you a shout out and some bonus audio. As previously said, I just put up an interview with my wife and I discussing alien and or elf sex. Spoiler alerts, she is not okay with it.
Shocking
Yeah,
development.
surprise.
Shocking. So check that out. It's the social medias, the Instas, the Twitters, the Facebooks. Thank y'all, everyone who participates over there. Our Facebook group, super
Awesome.
fun. Holy
Yeah.
shit! Some of the memes in there are fucking awesome. They're so funny.
Yeah, I giggle
They
a lot
really,
of those.
I spend so much time. It's Joyce, right? Joyce
She does a
posts
lot
them
of
up
them, yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Joyce
Oh, it's fucking
is
hilarious.
fucking killer.
Yeah.
This shit is so funny. So check it out over there. That's all that we have to promote. Any closing thoughts, comments, sentiments?
No, just stay away from satanic science.
Yeah.
I kind of like satanic science. I just want to build a robot.
No.
Not smart enough. I ain't got the smarts for robot Rob.
Wow. MIT 666.
Oh, that might,
Alma
dude,
mater.
That might be another T-shirt.
We're going to get sued by someone.
Yeah, exactly.
The Satanic Institute. It's sad.
Satanic Institute of Science.
Sis.
Nice. Thank y'all so very much for joining us. Enjoy your Halloween, and we're talking to you soon.
Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, one and all.
You can do your Tiny Tim. Come on, do it.
God bless us, everyone.
I can't wait to see you die.